Hi, I'm Janice Cook. I am a certified Asana's partner, which means I've done training with Asana on this software, and I spent 12 years in the classroom teaching K through 12, and I currently help teachers who have teacher businesses, which is why you'll see this sample account I'm using has a sample business name. But I help teachers who are in the classroom now manage the chaos of their classroom teacher life and the chaos of their business all in one organized tool. And my tool of choice is Asana. So in today's video, we are going to do a quick walkthrough of why I think Asana is a great choice for educators. You can find me online with any questions after this video. I will leave my Instagram handle for you as well as my website. Both are excellent ways to get in touch with me with any questions about how you could use Asana as a tool in your own teacher life, because I know that every teacher life and schedule is very individual. Okay. Asana is like your personal secretary when you come in the morning. There's no better feeling than when you walk into school in the morning and you say hi to your school secretary. What the school secretary does is they tame all the chaos in all the buckets of the school, and they bring the main thing. So they give you a summary of just what you need to know about today, and they keep all of the other chaos tamed behind the scenes. So I want you to think of Asana as your secretary, as a teacher. And I want to tell you that as we take a tour of Asana today, you are going to see some features that are premium or paid. I have never needed these features myself. I would love for you to consider Asana as a free tool, because the free version of Asana is incredibly powerful. You sign up with your email address, and one tip before we start, I would not recommend starting with your school email address. I would definitely recommend starting with your personal email address. And there are ways that you can add your school email address as a secondary later, but there are just so many things that can happen with your district email address. I recommend setting up Asana for free using your personal email address. So, Asana is a great choice for educators. This is a modern tool, so it is digital, which means you can use it on the go. We're going to talk about why I love the Asana mobile app. 99% of the time, I use it on the browser just like this. So I'm in a Chrome browser right now. It means I can see this at home. I can see it on my school computer. I can see it anywhere there is internet, which I absolutely love. So this is a digital tool that I can use on my laptop. I could use it on my desktop, or I could even grab something quickly on my phone on the go. I love my paper planner for lesson planning as a teacher. This is not meant to replace your actual curriculum lesson planner, although I'll show you some things that you can do with it in the digital sense. But this is here to manage all the other parts of your day that aren't the actual lesson delivery to students. And I love to use this calendar view. There are 3 types of projects I'm going to show today. They are the list view, the board view, and the calendar view. So this calendar works a lot like a digital calendar, where if I want to add a task, I'm just going to click right here, and I'm just going to add a task. It works just like Google Calendar, where you can add a task. If I want to click on the task later to open it up, here's what a sample task looks like. So I can dump notes to my future self. I have some basic word processing editing features. I can make text bold, italic, underline. I can strike through things if I'm making a list and I like to cross things out that way. I have bullets and numbers. I can make things pretty links as we're bringing in documents, send, ELA folder to teammate, and then I could highlight the words ELL folder, and I could drop the link right there, so it's easy for me to grab when I sit down to actually do this task. I'm making a screen share video for you right now. You can actually take a quick video inside a task, which can be really cool if you're using this collaboratively to share with someone else, or if your hands are free and you cannot type out a message for yourself, but you want to capture a note. I know some people like to leave a little bit of an audio message for themselves. If you're doing collaborative planning in a space, you can mention a teammate who plans with you or a paraprofessional. That can be really exciting. And then you have some emojis, which can be really helpful as you make things stand out for yourself if you're an emoji lover. We also have some tags. This is where we can do some color coding magic. You already see some color coding on my calendar. That's how that happens. And then you can attach things. So if you have a copy of your subplans or your schedule on your computer, or you have a curriculum scope and sequence in Google Drive that you're going to want to be able to access, let's not have that only on your school computer. Let's also bring it into Asana so you can reference it anywhere you have internet on the go. I love taking an image that I have on my computer that I grabbed as a screenshot and dragging it in. And also remember, you can use Asana on your phone. So I can capture a quick picture of student work or a problem I want to brainstorm about in my classroom. And then I can dump it into a task so that I can actually plan my solution for that later. I can also break up big tasks into smaller pieces. So maybe the first day I dump this idea for myself, and then I start to break it into smaller pieces and start to pick out which day I'm going to do that. So this large thing is called a task, and then this is called a subtask. But you're really adding things just like you use Google Calendar. The calendar is very intuitive, and I really, really like it. Another feature that I really like about the calendar is I love to add a picture of my school schedule. And I know that everyone's school schedule is very, very unique. So I tried to put one that would kind of resonate with teachers of all grade levels. But in this sample schedule, which I made using the free download at Thyme is Honey, I took a picture, like a screenshot, and then I dragged it into Canva. And I just added the highlighter blocks and kind of named all the buckets of time that we have. So I want to be able to see where my available time blocks are so that I can use the calendar to plan for those, okay? So this is how I used this for Monday. If your schedule is unique on an A or B schedule or on a Monday or a Tuesday, you could make a different version of this graphic by duplicating the page in free software like Canva. So this is an example of a Monday schedule. I can grab a picture of that and attach it to this task. And this task is called my ideal work week. So this is my normal Monday schedule before there's any interruptions. And I did give it a gray tag so that it stands out a little on my schedule. What I also did was I assigned it to myself on Monday, and I made it a repeating task that will be on my calendar every Monday, which means after this Monday is over and I check out of school and I go home, I can check this task off, and it's going to float down to hold space for me as reference for next Monday. So when I'm planning for next Monday, I will be able to see that reference of what I like to do every Monday. I'll be able to see that schedule, and then I'll be able to see how I like to end the day every Monday. I like to set out my materials for tomorrow's lessons, and then I like to set a timer for 15, 20 minutes and go into my email inbox at the end of the day and take out any action items that I don't want to get lost before I leave at the end of the day. So I love to write a little note to myself in the ideal work week tag about giving the day a little bit of theme and structure. So maybe on Mondays and on Wednesdays, oh my goodness, these got mixed up in order. Let me move those around. Maybe on Mondays and Wednesdays, I like to focus during my planning time during the school day on all the miscellaneous tags. So that piece of paper I have to fill out for the case manager, that went into my inbox. This notice that I have to fill out for a school event that's happening on Friday, this parent feedback that I have to give to a teammate who's going to a meeting, those miscellaneous things that have come in through my inbox, maybe I like to do those catch-all tasks on Mondays and Wednesdays during my planning block inside the day. And maybe on Tuesdays and Thursdays, I really try to reserve my in-school planning time for lesson planning or collaborative planning. So I write this in my ideal work week horizontal bar just to remind myself when tasks are coming in, kind of where on my schedule I should put them. So maybe I want to make sure I add all my student birthdays for my class into Asana. Maybe that's something that's important to me. And I'm going to do it on my next miscellaneous task day. I'm going to do it on Wednesday. And I haven't loaded up all my school calendar events. Ooh, I need to do that too. I probably won't have time to do both of these during my planning block, but I think this one is going to be more important because I don't want to miss a staff meeting or an assembly. So I'm going to reprioritize this. And I don't have to think as hard about which available time block to put it in because I gave each day just a tiny bit of structure. So that's how I like to use this calendar view. And then this actually was a sample task that I put here for demonstration. And sometimes we add things to our calendar and then we sleep on it and we realize I don't actually need to do this at all. And I can just go ahead and delete it and keep my calendar really clean. So this calendar acts as a shell where I can put tasks that come off of another favorite project that I have, which is the list view project. I sometimes call this a parking lot, or sometimes I call this a brain dump. So inevitably, while you're teaching a lesson or in the copy room doing something else or running out the door, that's when we think of our most brilliant ideas. And this is the project that I love to use on the mobile app for Asana. So the way I get it really easy to access on the mobile app is I click this star right here and it adds it to my favorites list. The mobile app for Asana can be a little bit busy as you start to add a lot of projects here on the left. So I love to keep this brain dump project in my favorites so I can access it as soon as I open the app. And then I leave this section at the top as my catch-all section. So anytime I'm thinking on the go, wobble leg on chair, unstable leg on chair, fix, ask custodian. I will give it some sort of a typo. And then if I put something that's hiding inside the task, like a picture I snapped on my phone is going to be in here, I'll go ahead and write myself a note in the name of the task. Whenever possible, I'm trying to start these tasks with a verb to remind me what I'm trying to do about this. What's the actual task action I'm trying to take? So I need to copy the spelling tests. This works just like Google Calendar, where I'm just brain dumping as a list. I can push enter at the end of each list and just get the next bullet point. So I'm getting things out of my brain. Call Red Robin group parents to share positive news about book club. So some positive parent phone calls. Call Danny's dad about progress with new seat. Okay, so I have 2 phone calls here. Set up evaluation meeting with my assistant principal. Share pre-test data with department head. Plan a meeting with student teacher to review recent observation. So I'm getting these ideas out of my head. I'm attaching pictures if I can, or links, or any notes that are going to help me do this task later. And then that's it. I'm going back to what I was supposed to be doing and moving on with my teacher life. So these are actually just going to belong in that top section. I didn't mean to make an extra section for them, but you'll see that I'm able to reach over on the side and I get that Mickey Mouse hand and I can pick things up and I can put them in another order anytime. And you're never gonna break this free tool. If you accidentally make a section and you didn't mean to, we just delete it. And that's something that I really love about digital tools in general. So in my structure, I had 2 days to work on miscellaneous tasks. I had 2 days to work on planning, and maybe on Friday, that's the one day I let myself stay a little later at school. I like to make sure I have my materials set up for Monday. I go in my inbox and I swipe it with a timer, make sure there's no loose ends in there I haven't taken care of. Maybe on Friday is when I like to clean up my parent communication log from any parent phone calls I made sure they make it into my record keeping system. I could place a link right here so that every Friday when I do that, it's easy for me to grab the link to it. Maybe I need to do data tracking and I don't want to get behind on that. So I link to the spreadsheet where I need to do that every Friday. And then we're going to do our brain dump swipe. And so I just wanted to share that I add the links to this task one time. And this is a recurring task. So it's going to float down with me and be there to serve me every single Friday. So I don't have to keep a million browser tabs open and waste time hunting and pecking for links. So my favorite thing to do at the end of the week is sort and file in the brain dump. So when I go into this project, now I'm going to put things in the categories they might go in. So maybe I see that I have lots of things to copy, and that tells me that now it's worth it to make a trip down to the copier because I have a variety of things to copy. And how nice would it be if I also had the document linked in here so that I could print them all real quick once I had lots of these and then walk to the copier one time and copy everything I needed for the week. In my school, I did not have access to a phone that I could call out on. I actually had to go to another room in the school. So I really didn't like to go down until I had a handful of parent communication to do. And then I would sit there for one planning period and see if I could get them all done, or I would make all my phone calls on a Friday, but I would kind of keep all the things that could wait till Friday in one parent communication area, and then maybe I would do them on Friday. Set up an evaluation meeting with an assistant principal. That's going to be something I try to do during school because I need to walk down to his office and check his calendar. Pre-test data with a department head. I could do that during the school day also. Sharing pre-test data. So I'm moving things down to different sections. Planning a meeting. I could do that during my school planning block. And I should probably chat with my custodian during a block. Cool. So on Friday, I try to make sure this top section is empty and I've put everything into the buckets that I think they belong in. Your sections might be different. I'm just giving some that are an example. Let's see. I like to do parent communication after school. When do I like to prep materials? I'd love to do that during the school. In my practice, try not to leave things before school. I like to leave my before school time as a little bit of flex. So then I like to invite things to my calendar. I am going to add this to my teacher calendar. I'm now ready to make a plan on when I do it. So I'm going to put my face on this task and I'm actually going to assign it to myself today. And I'm filming this video on September 30th. So now I'm ready to take action. This is a task that I do on Fridays. So I'm going to add my picture to the task and I'm going to add it to today, which is Friday. And I kind of do this by section. So these are tasks that I want to do sometime next week. And I want to do them during the school day. Now I flip back to my calendar and I have some tasks to prioritize. So these are days I try to protect for planning. These are things I want to do on a miscellaneous day. So let's see. I could probably go find the custodian and the assistant principal during my planning on this day. Sometimes it's hard to track people down, but I can go out and whichever one of them I'm able to find first successfully, I can get one of those done. And the other one, I will move to my next miscellaneous day. And then I could probably go down to the copy room with everything I have to copy. And while those copies are coming out of the copier, I could probably actually add these school events to my calendar at the same time. So I put them on my days when I'm hoping to do miscellaneous tasks. And now that they have a home on my calendar, I could actually take them off of my brain dump. They were in this parking lot during the week until I made a plan for them. And now that I have a plan, I can take them off here. After school. Let me look at my schedule. So I could look at my actual schedule for each day and think about how much time do I actually have. I like to stay for about an hour after school, but maybe I know that on Wednesdays we have our staff and department meetings and I can't put them on Wednesdays. Let me see. After school, I like to do parent communication on Fridays, but today I am not available for that. Could these wait until next Friday? They could. So I'm going to put them on next Friday because my week has structure, and I know that Friday is the day that I like to do parent communication. So today is kind of done, but I can park them on next Friday. And I'm looking at my calendar. This looks okay. I feel good about this plan. So I'm going to take them off of that brain dump, out of that parking lot, because now I have a plan to do these tasks. And then let's see. This observation was recent. I'm not sure when I'm going to do that yet. So for now, it's just going to sit here, and that's okay. And this needs to happen before my next staff meeting, but it probably doesn't have to happen right now. And then you'll also see that this is where I like to keep a little reference section. So I can keep a paper copy of my subplans that are easy to print. I could keep links to Google Drive folders right in here so that when I'm on the go, I can really quickly get into these, and you'll see how I use these projects again later in another example. So I love that Asana can kind of pass projects from one type of project to another, and I can keep things as reference in multiple places. Okay, so that's an example of how we give some structure to our week in the calendar and then use this parking lot to capture things on the go during the week when we don't have time to do them. And then on Fridays, include this wrap-up task so we can start to invite things from our infinite to-do list and just invite some of them into the space that we have for next week. I'm looking where those available time blocks are, and I'm choosing just a few things to get off my list, prioritizing the things that are the most important. The other type of project that teachers love in Asana is the board view project. Sometimes teachers love taking something and moving it through the different stages of a process, left to right. You can pick up these tasks and drag them. But I also know teachers who like to be able to plan for each of their classes vertically by subject or by block if you're a secondary teacher. So this is an example of what this looks like. You saw in my list view project that I had links to things like my curriculum, like my subplans. I can have those here, and I can also have them show in my lesson planning project, because when I'm doing my lesson planning for writing, I might want to reference these documents, and I don't want to have to keep them in a tab or go dig for them in Google Drive. I want them to be here right where I am when I'm doing this type of a task. So this is an example of how I could do common planning with a teammate. I don't have to share my entire Asana with another teammate, but maybe my grade level partner or my co-teacher or my paraprofessional wants to do some common planning and have access to this. I could share this project with them, just my lesson planning project, and we could collaborate on the stages of writing unit together. So that's really exciting and powerful in the free version as well. Here we can use the subtasks to brain dump every time I turn the calendar and it's time to teach stages of writing. What are the things I'm going to want to do? What attachments, what resources that I've purchased and invested in can I keep right here so that I use that investment that I made? What gems and favorite lessons do I have? And then I can write for myself. What are the steps I go through when I teach stages of writing to my students? First, I change out the bulletin board. When I put up the large version of the reference posters, I also print some smaller versions, 4 to a page, to share with table groups. I make writing folders for the students. I copy a wide variety of graphic organizers that are all linked in this task. So I'm prepping materials, and then with my co-teacher, maybe my co-teacher is going to plan all the whole group activities and share them with me. And maybe I'm going to plan all the small group and individual practice activities, and I'm going to share them with my co-teacher. We can start to collaborate on parts of these tasks together. Maybe my co-teacher is not going to set up my bulletin board, but maybe she's going to do some of the planning with me. And then I include things I want to do after I finish this. I want to wrap up my data. I want to make notes on what went well about this unit and what didn't go as well. And then maybe when this unit is done and I'm done teaching it, maybe I'm going to pick it up and I'm going to bring it to the end of the line so that this space is ready for me next year when I teach stages of writing. So I only put my face on the task if it's the current unit that I'm planning for right now, so that I can kind of see where I am in each curriculum. But I can see all of my ELA planning right in one place, and that just makes my teacher heart really happy. So today we talked about 3 types of projects that you might love as a teacher in Asana. We talked about the calendar, the list, and the board view. We talked about how you can set a project as a favorite so that it's easy to grab on the app. And we took a little sneak peek inside the Asana mobile app. We talked about the fact that you can use Asana as a tool for yourself, or you can invite someone in to collaborate either on all the parts of your teacher life or just at the individual project level. So I hope this overview was helpful for you to see if Asana feels like a tool that would be helpful to you. Your teacher life is very, very individual, and this was just meant to give you some ideas to see if this tool is a right fit for you. If you're interested in getting some help setting up Asana to work for you, I love to help teachers with this anytime, and you're welcome to reach out to me either on my website or via Instagram.